up-close video today looking at a new launch of gorgeous tonic dies. They've all got this gorgeous sort of marine, underwater, mermaid kind of a feel to them. It's a really gorgeous collection of dies. I've just finished making a load of cards with them as well. So I will walk you through the die set and then I will show my samples at the end, showing how I've used a few of the different dies, different ways to use them and stuff. I haven't used every single die. As you'll know from my channel, I tend to make smaller cards, so I have stuck more to the sort of inner section of the larger sets, although I have used the outer two on this one. But I love this sentiment. This is like my favourite one, and this one actually too. But anyway, so let's have a close-up look at the die sets that we get. I love that we get, when Tonic bring out a collection, they bring out a range of sizes as well. So you've got the two vocal ones, so you could pick one or the other, because, you know, there's plenty of ways to use these together. But you've also got different sizes of sentiments too, to go with it, to complement as well. So, for example, let's look at this one first. This is the Mermaid to be Friends die set, and it measures roughly 4 inches square. This one fits perfectly. If you take out the mermaid from the centre of the large set, this sentiment fits perfectly in the middle. So it gives really great versatility of mixing and matching too. I love the way Tonic always do that. They always think outside the box. Anyway, so this is the die set. You can see it's well, it's not a verso die because it's got a separate outside edge, so you can cut that in vellum to like mute your background and then have your die cut on top of it, or you can use that to create a shaker aperture, or, you know, loads of different things. But then the main die is a standalone die. You can see it's got the cutting edge all the way around the edge of it, so this cuts out what you see on the front, and then the outside edge is the paler orange on the picture of the packaging. What I also love about this one is, I'll show you on one of the cards in a minute, you can easily snip out the wording, and actually this one fits really nicely inside of it as well. So this is the Mermaid Kisses and Starfish Wishes, which is 2.3 by 2.5 inches. It says it all on the front of the packet, the sizing. But again, it's got the outside kind of bubble, I like to call it, for sentiments, and then you've got the really nice fine sentiment die as well. And I love that they've mixed like block capitals in with a cursive script as well. I really love that look, and it just, I don't know, just adds to your card, gives it that really nice feel. But yeah, but this fits perfectly. I think on my card I put it about here, so it fits really nicely within that frame. You could also snip the wording out and put the mermaid behind. I didn't do that in any of my cards, but that would look really nice too. You could even use this one on a scrapbook layout and have it framing your photo. That would look really nice too. And you could also like use this sentiment to go along with a scrapbook layout as well. So that's that one. So that was our largest sort of sentiment die, and then this is a medium size, and then you have this one that's more of a medium size as well. You can see next to each other they're kind of a similar scale. This one is 2.5 inches square, and again you get the outside die and you get the inside one. I really love this one. I love the fishes. I've used them on quite a few of my cards because they're really easy, again, snipping out the words to just give you the frame, or you can go one step further and snip the frame up and create another shape out of the fishes, or just use the fishes to accent one of the larger shapes as well, which I'll show you on my card. Oh, and also another great thing, whoever designs tonic dies is like a genius, because you know when you have a shape that's odd and like another odd shape to go in it, and you're sitting there for ages trying to work out which way round it goes because there's so many little lumps and bumps on it. This one, it fits 2 ways up, so they've arranged the fish, copied and pasted it and put it round the other way, so the wording fits in the bubble that way, but it also fits in the bubble that way, so you've got less, you'll spend less time trying to twiddle it around and get it to match up, which I thought was really great. I only actually noticed that because I was sticking two of them on top of each other, and I was like, okay, I'm going to line up this group of fish, and then I was like, oh, the wording's not lining up because it's the same group of fish down here. So yeah, but I really like that they've thought about that and just duplicated the fishes. Okay, and then the final sentiment is a little teeny weeny one that says make a splash. And again, they've mixed in that block capital with a cursive font as well. All of these words cut out really nicely as well. You'll see that on my cards. And the make a splash would also fit nicely inside the fish circle. And I'll show you on a card how I modified the circle and put the make a splash in the centre. And the make a splash would also fit nicely inside that frame as well. I didn't actually do that on any cards, but that would look really nice too. I filmed most of the cards I've just made, so there's going to be plenty of videos coming out around the same time as this one, showing you lots of the examples too, and I'm sure I will think up more ideas because I can see these are going to be quite popular die sets for me because they've got gorgeous mermaids on. Yeah, so these are the two bigger die sets. We've got the Marina Layering Die Set and the Oceana Layering Die Set. I don't think I could pick a favourite actually. I think this Mermaid is my favourite, but I really like these two corner dies. But then I love swirls, so then this is kind of my favourite. I don't know. It's very difficult to pick between the two of them, but I've thoroughly enjoyed using both sets. I think the only two dies... No, there's 3 dies I haven't used. I haven't used the outer 2 on this one, and I haven't used that corner on that one, but everything else I've used in my samples. So let's go through this one first. Actually, let's look at them both together for a second. So the great thing about tonic dies is the versatility of mixing and matching. You might have noticed, like with their Floral Affections die set that was all hearts, they all mix and match inside one another, and they brought out were they sweet posies or petal posies that were a flower shape with the same kind of idea, and there was 3 sets and they mixed and matched inside each other. It's kind of similar for these because the circle dies are the same, so you can mix and match with the scalloped edged circles which come in this set, which is the Marina one, or the straight edge circles which are in the Oceana set. Actually, while I think about it, so this is Tonic's Layering Circle die sets, the plain ones and the scalloped ones. I just want to have a look actually. Actually, that's a slightly different scallop, I think, maybe. Oh wow. Okay, no, maybe it is the same size. It's the same size, so that might be the same for all of them. No, that one's an in-between size. And that one's slightly bigger too, and they are a tiny bit of a different scallop as well. So you can see they will just give you even more versatility with your scallop circle die set as well. And I think Tonic do a slightly smaller set of scalloped circles too that don't come with the storage sheet, which would be slightly smaller, so these two would expand that set if you had that set as well. So I'm sure it's the same for the other plain edged circles. They're just slightly different, which is good because you could get like a really thin slither of a mat around your circle. I think that one is definitely the same size. But that one is slightly bigger. That is an in-between size. So that's really nice that you've got extra sizes to go with your layering die sets. Always good. And plus, if you have this die set too and you wanted to cut both mermaids out at once, both with a straight edge or a scalloped edge, you could use the die from that if that one's the same size. So that's also good too. Saves you time when you're die cutting. So, let's do a close-up look on this one. So within the sets, as I said, all the circles are the same size, so you can mix and match all of the different components inside. So that's going to give you like endless possibilities. And again, you can mix the sentiments into the centre rather than using the mermaid as well. And in each set you get 2 lovely corners as well. I've really enjoyed using these corners actually. I'm not usually that much of a corner die person, but I did really like them. And I love the way you get the detail on the starfish. It's the same as on this sentiment one. It debosses or embosses into the starfish as well. And it also does it on the mermaid's tails too. So I'll show you the front actually, it's probably easier. So this, you've got, I like on this one, it's like I was saying with the fish, they've repeated the pattern. So the starfish are at the 4 points of a compass, and then this is a repeat in between. So if you're stacking up multiples of them, you know, you can line it up 4 ways and it's going to match, which is really great. I think it's the same, yeah, same for the outside edge. I haven't actually cut this one, but it looks like that's exactly the same. So again, if you're going to line them up to stack them up, it's going to be really easy to do. And then this is my favourite mermaid. I really like that one, the side view with the giant tail. Really gorgeous. Okay, then the other die set, which is the Oceana one. A different mermaid in the centre. Again, gorgeous with their big tails, and all of that scale detail on their tail will emboss when you cut it as well. I really like this seaweed one too. I used it on one of my cards I think, but if you cut it a couple of times and then twisted them slightly, it would give a really cool effect as well. This one is stunning. I love this one. I have a die cut of it here because I was paper piecing back in these swirls onto another card, but it's so delicate. I really, really like that one. And then this gorgeous, because it kind of just looks like a frilly edge, but it's really clever that they've made it out of shells. So that one is gorgeous too. And then this little corner I've used quite a bit. That corner I haven't used yet, but it's gorgeous because it's got that like little swirly shell on it too. So that's all of the die sets that are in this collection. That's just come out. And now I will show you some of my samples. Got a nice stack of them. So I'll try and point out where the dies came from as well. So this is that gorgeous, my favourite one, the Oceans of Love Fish Circle. This one I used one of the new Dreaming Colour embossing powders to emboss it, and then I used one of the new Craft Perfect cards to cut out the backing piece. But if you had a less busy background, you could cut the backing piece out of vellum to kind of just mute the background slightly, but I thought for this one it needed something solid because otherwise it was a bit too distracting with this part going around the edge. So another way of I think I'm going to go through each die at a time maybe. So that's just using the die as it is. And this one was also using the die as it is, but I double heat embossed the main portion of it in one of the new Nouveau embossing powders, and then for the sentiment I just cut another one in white and snipped it out and stuck it on the top. So you can do that with that sentiment as well. And I think I've only used it 3 times. Just checking because I forget. Then this was the other way of using it. So I did cut the circle originally and I thought I'm just going to put the Make a Splash in the centre of it, but I felt like it was covering up the fish too much, so I cut 2 circles I think, and then I just started snipping them apart. And when I arranged it, I was trying to just make a bigger circle, but when I arranged it, it almost looked like a heart. So I thought that looked really nice, just to arrange them in a heart shape. So that's my examples for that die set. Then for this die set, here I have cut it twice, shadowed it, and then cut the background out of a solid piece and stuck that on top as my sentiment. Then here I have taken out the Mermaid to be Friends from the centre of that frame and used this one instead. And again, I've shadowed it, and I shadowed it with glitter card for this one, just to give a little bit of extra sparkle. And then for this one, I cut it 6 times and used it to create a faux Boston background, where you cut it from the same colour as your background and stick them all over so it looks like you've run it through an embossing folder, but you've actually used die cuts. So that's another way of using that one. Then with the Make a Splash, I think I used that 3 times. So I used it in the centre of that one, and I actually stacked 3 of them up, 2 in an apricot colour and 1 in the white, just to, because it's quite a simple card, so I wanted to make the sentiment stand out nicely. Then I also used it for the centre of this card. Again, I've shadowed it because I think sentiments look really nice when you shadow them. Oh, and that might be the only 2. Yeah, I think I've only used that one twice. Okay, then I'll show you this one. So for this card, I just created like an inky messy background with Nouveau Aqua Flows and Shimmer powders. And then I cut the die from the card and actually used it to make this card. So the waste from this card has made this really simple card. And then I cut it again and recessed it back in, but snipped out the original wording of Mermaid to be friends and added on the Mermaid Kisses and Starfish Wishes sentiment instead, which fits really nicely. And I also said before that Make a Splash one would have fit really nicely in there too. Then I was also saying earlier that this one fits really nicely in the centre of the larger dies as well. So you take out the Mermaid section and then you can use that in there, and I've shadowed that too just to make it stand out nicely. And I've used some of the new Nouveau like rainbow mirror card, which is really cool. I really love that. And oh yeah, another way of using the fish that I forgot about. I cut them out of that rainbow mirror and then just snipped them into little sections, and then I've got them swimming around the card. It just tied in the rainbow from the sentiment to the rest of the card, and it kind of looks like rainbow fish then. So that's that one. I think that's all the ones using that, and the rest examples are showing using the main 2 larger die sets. So if I take all of them out of the way. So I wanted to try doing a couple of cards focusing on just the mermaid dies. So this one is actually, it could be a gift tag or an ornament, and I've used one of the new Nouveau Craft Perfect textured handmade papers in the background, and then cut her out, stacked it up a couple of times and coloured in sections and stuff, and added on Nouveau glitter drops as well, just to make a little like decoration-y gift tag. And then for this one I cut out the intricate mermaid, and then I cut out a plain circle using the same circle die, stuck them both together, being really careful not to get any glue on top of the die cut, and then I used my Nouveau alcohol pens to colour her in, and then I added on some Aqua Shimmer and some Nouveau drops in the background as well. So it's a really nice way of using the little mermaids. And then I did more of an abstract way of using the mermaids, just cutting them straight out of mirror card and sticking them on to create more of a background element on a card rather than the focal element. And finally, this one I used, I cut the backing circle with some double-sided adhesive and then stuck the one on top and put glitter through it as well as a different way of using it. So that's all of those examples. Then using the larger dies in the set, I used the largest outside sections of the Oceana Die Set to create this sort of element. It kind of gets hidden by those 2 elements there, but that follows around the card. And this is what I was saying. I used the pieces out of this one to fill back in the sections on here. I think that just looks really, really nice, just filling them back in. And when you know you're going to cover most of it up, that little bit of paper piecing doesn't take much time at all. So that's using the larger ones. Then this size in both of them was my favourite size because it fits nicely on, you know, the sort of standard 5.8 inch square card. Yeah, I'll show this one first. This one is from the Marina Die Set, and I've used some new Nouveau Pure Sheen confetti behind it as well, which I think looks really cool. It just gives that look of like the bottom of the seabed and like little sparkly gems and stuff in the sand. Really like that look. And I'd stacked two of them up together to make it give them more of a 3D effect as well, rather than trying to put tiny little bits of foam tape on the back of it. Just stacking up two die cuts works really well. Then from the other die set, that same sized one, I used on this card. And for the outside edge of this one, instead of using the circle that comes in the die set, I used one of the Tonic stitched circles, this one, the cross stitch circle layering dies, to cut the outside edge, and then I cut the interior piece and the inside edge on that one too. And to give it that kind of rusticy, aqua-y look, I just brushed on the Nouveau Clear Mark ink pad all around the edges and added on some embossing powder and then heated that, and then I cut that in half to give that like double sort of buckle kind of a look. So that's another way of using that size of the die. Then finally, showing you how I've used some of the corners as well. So for this card, I've used one of the new colours of Nouveau Embellishment Mousse, just to give that really subtle colour. This is called Chai Latte. Really subtle colour to them, and it was from this set, which is the Oceana one, and I cut 4 of them the same for this card, just to give it a little bit of symmetry. Then for this one, I used this corner from the Marina Die Set, just to fill in that large gap from the semicircle of the circular die. It just gives some sort of subtle detail in there. And I cut the top one out of one of the handmade papers. It was a bit flimsy and wasn't showing up that much, so I then cut another one from white card and then did like an offset shadow so it stands out nicely. And then finally, I used a mixture of 3 of the different corners on this card because I just felt like I don't usually work straight onto the card blank. I usually work onto a panel and stick it onto the card blank. But for some reason I just felt like working straight onto the card, but I felt it was a bit too empty, so I just added the 3 corners onto it. So there we are, that's all of my samples that I did, and I'll just show you actually, if you run out of ideas or you want a place to start with these die sets, Tonic always give you some great inspiration on the packaging, like showing how you can use the 4 corners around the circular mermaid, different ways to layer them up, and like missing out different layers and everything, or to create more of a rectangular element, just using the 2 corners as well. I tried not to use any of the suggestions from the packaging, just to show you more ways of using it. There's no point repeating what's already shown on the packet. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this up close look at all of the dies, and I thought I would film it whilst I still had all my samples with me, so that you had a good chance to see the cards up close. And like I said before, I filmed all of them, most of them, so there'll be plenty more videos showing you inspiration with these dies coming up on my channel too. So I hope you enjoy them as well. So thank you for watching, bye!